Good morning, everyone. It's April 24th, 2019. I'm Eric. So, I finally reached my 1,000 subscriber mark. How's that? I think it's pretty gnarly. Not been banned for a while now. It's been like 6 months or something like that. We're getting a lot of people over in our Discord servers. So, today I'm going to talk about rules of engagement and on our side of the fence, if you will. This is one of the things that we needed to hammer out in our group, and we have pretty much. So, all right, the rules of engagement. That is the rules that you abide by when engaging in combat. Now, some people in the group are hung up on words like communism, socialism. However, I think fascism would be a more accurate description, but we do not need to, mince words. They can see it as communism or anything else, but at the end of the day, it really is fascism, simply because the state and large corporations in many ways have merged. But and we also have people who are stuck on this Trump thing, and it's funny to me how when one individual gets in and his people, his followers, they talk about the cult of personality, but when somebody and that same individual jumps in that seat, then that cult of personality is not even recognized anymore. That's serious cognitive dissonance, but I digress. All right, so the rules of our rules on our side. First and foremost, we do not target children and non-combatant women. Now, they may use child soldiers. And what I mean by children is those who retain their innocence. If a teenager is engaging in combat, if they're shooting at you, then they're fair game. However, if they're unarmed, not a combatant, they're not to be harmed in any way, shape, or form. Nor do you help them. That will be up to somebody else. Our only goal really is to, well, as far as I can see so far, most of the people I talk to would like to roll back the Constitution to its original intent. And that's fine, except for one thing. That Constitution presumes to have a ruling class over everybody else, which means they would have law enforcement, which means the whole thing would get started again. And fair enough, we talked about different safeguards we can put in the Constitution, such as making it an automatic crime to even consider changing anything in it. For example, freedom of speech, or adding any kind of restrictions on the Second Amendment. Just because you get arrested does not mean you should not be able to defend yourself. And if you're a pedophile and you're running around with a gun, well, that's good for everybody else, because then you're fair game. Really, when you target our children, you're fair game. So we're not to injure or harm non-combatants, women, children, unless they are an imminent threat, meaning if they are participating in war, then they get the consequences of war. Now, I'm not so sure about this whole Constitution thing. And the reason that is Storm Cloud Gathering can't, they haven't made videos in a while. But one of his videos, and it's an excellent video, and he made an excellent point. The United States breaks up, we start fighting a civil war. Then you have factions that don't want to necessarily live under the Constitution. Do we use force to get them in line? A lot of the people in the Discord said yes, because we cannot have communists, socialists, or fascists, whatever you want to call them, living on our borders. So there's a lot of stuff we agree about, but there's way, way, way more we disagree about. And that being said, there's no way ever, if we can't even agree that, we don't use force on people because they don't want to use our Constitution, and then I don't really find any hope in that. Fair enough, we won't agree on everything, but everyone needs to agree on that, on key points. For example, the way I see it, law enforcement, if there is to be any, should be there and to arrest politicians and others who try to enslave, usurp, or whatever you want to call it, our nation's founding documents. So we have a lot of stuff to hammer out. And I still invite everybody who views my videos to go ahead and come over to the Discord server. That way we can begin hammering out what kind of nation we want to live in. We have some good guys over there. Even the people that are stuck on the cult of personality that is Trump are okay. They just can't make it past that hump that, yes, Donald Trump is equally as corrupt as the rest of them. He may have better intentions for the country, but overall, he is a insider who owes Jewish bankers, i.e. Zionists, lots of fucking money. And if you can't see the conflict of interest in that, then certainly you do need to do some soul searching and really think about who you hold on a pedestal. I don't think any man should be held on a pedestal. Least of all, an individual who there's this endless conflicts of interest with this guy. I mean, he is doing more for Israel than our own country, okay? And that's a problem. That's a problem. And the very first thing that would have to happen in our new nation is every one of the countries who get foreign aid from us, that it would stop immediately. Anybody in prison for nonviolent crimes should be immediately released. And what I mean by nonviolence is no physical attack of any kind, sexual or otherwise. Now, the person was defending themselves, then there could be a case made that they should be released too. But we're talking about hardcore fucking criminals who rape, pillage, molest, and so on. So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be hammered out between the group. We have a lady in there who wants to completely take a nonviolent approach, and this is not possible. It's not. It's not possible because the people we're fighting against know nothing but force, coercion, and violence. And that being said, really, we should not be indulging ourselves in fantasies that somehow we can vote our ways out of the situation we're in. I think at this time, an insurgency is 100% necessary. Now, I've seen some headlines recently where the FBI has started going after some of these bad apple cops. However, it is too little, too late. We already have decades and decades and decades of atrocities behind us. It's too late. And if you wanted nonviolent action, really it should have been taken care of back in the early 1900s, but it wasn't. It was the cancer cell was allowed to grow and metastasize, and so here we are today. Here we are today. So we need to hammer out exactly what we want, and then go after what we want. I want to be free. I want to be free to decide what medicines I will consume. I want to be free to decide what medicines my children will consume. And we're getting less free to determine these things. And we all know it. We all know that slowly but surely, in increments, our nation, that was once the freest nation on the planet, once, a long, long time ago, is in dire fucking straits because of the neglect of the people. This is why I do not respect the generations before us. Because they sat by, and sat by, and sat by, and did fucking nothing. So if you're like in your 60s, I don't respect you. I don't. I respect your human rights, but that's it. I don't respect your opinions. I don't respect your point of view. I don't respect any of it because look at what you have let happen. This shit should have been done 50 fucking years ago. It should have been done 75 years ago. Should have been done 100 years ago. But it wasn't. Our nation's freedom has been neglected. Our nation's infrastructure has been neglected. Our nation's people have been neglected. So if we're not going to benefit from having a government in any way, what is the fucking point of having one? I don't get welfare, so I don't benefit that way. I don't get Social Security, I don't benefit that way. There is literally zero benefit for me to have a government. They do nothing for me. And they do nothing for you unless you're one of the one of the people who get government assistance. And the other way is so, so much better. The other way is so, so much more rewarding. When you fucking invent something or you're able to fix stuff, that's more rewarding than sitting on your fat asses, cramming down all the junk food and soda you can possibly muster. But we're hammering stuff out. We're trying to. This time around, I'm getting a little bit further with people than I did the first time around I tried this. So, thank you for my new subscribers. I really appreciate everyone coming over here. I appreciate my old ones so much. You cannot imagine. You guys are gnarly, awesome people, and I really appreciate you coming here and visiting me every day. But something's got to be done, people. Time is running fucking out. Now, even if we manage to somehow return our country to its original purpose, the original intent, we still have other things in the natural world that could still kill us all. And one of these things is the radioactive material that is being held in the ice there in Antarctica. So it seems to me, one way or the other, we're going to be got. We're going to be hit. And the question is, are we going to be free to react the way we need to, or are we going to be bound by a library of laws and corrupt politicians? And if you point out one uncorrupt politician, I can point out 20 dirty ones. So, and one of the people in my, actually, we all agree on this. We think that making the consequences of being a dirty politician that betrays our best interest should get what the Vikings did to their people. That eagle, open eagle, or I'm not sure what they called it, but it's where they cut the ribs away, crack them open, and put the lungs on the outside on the back. Those kinds of things they want to be done to our crooked politicians and law enforcement. And I agree. You make the consequences so horrific of being corrupt and dirty that people, if they get the thought of doing something against the best interest of our nation, they get that thought. They think back to that individual and think, oh, I'm not even going to go there. Look, if you want to live in a communist country, there are plenty out there. You want to live in a socialist country, there are plenty out there. It's not going to be here. Kill the state. Live free.